Can a tiny beetle become the hero of an entire desert? By the end of this story, you'll discover a moral you'll never forget. In the burning dunes of Omudajar lived Tork, a golden-shelled beetle who carried grains of sand as if they were precious gems. Though he was small, Tork dreamed of moving a mountain, a feat even the strongest camels deemed impossible. The other insects laughed at him. "Not even in 1,000 lifetimes could you do that," they said as he kept pushing his grain day after day. One day, while pushing his load under the sun, he met a lizard named Briluk, whose scales shone like mirrors. Briluk, curious, asked, "Why are you carrying that, Beetle?" And Tork replied, "Because I believe every effort changes the world, even just a little." Impressed, Briluk decided to help, using his tail to move rocks out of the way. Together, they began to form a small hill. What started as routine became a ritual. Every dawn, Tork and Briluk worked silently, moving grains, building hope. Soon, a firefly named Leah joined them. She lit the nights so others wouldn't get lost and could start helping too. Little by little, the desert transformed. The hill grew. From afar, it was no longer an illusion, but a symbol of what perseverance could achieve. The insects who once mocked now approached with respect, wanting to add their grain and be part of that strange living mountain. However, just when everything seemed perfect, a fierce wind named Hurricane arrived, the most feared in the desert. On a night of sand and fury, Hurricane swept the entire hill away. The mountain vanished, and with it, everyone's hard work. By dawn, only traces remained, and Tork, covered in sand, stared silently at the horizon. His heart weighed heavier than ever. The others wanted to give up, but Briluk, with a firm voice, said, "It wasn't the mountain we built, it was the unity we now carry within." Then, Tork stood up, brushed the dust off his golden shell, and pushed a new grain with more strength than ever before. That very afternoon, the three began again. No complaints, no tears, just the certainty that what mattered wasn't the end, but the journey. What they didn't know was that the vanished hill had left a visible trace from the sky, a perfect heart shape. Migratory birds, upon seeing the silhouette, began to land there, bringing seeds that rooted in the shifting sand. Weeks later, tiny green sprouts began to grow where there had only been dust. The entire desert was starting to change. The insects returned with enthusiasm, no longer to build with sand, but to water and care for the unexpected oasis. Tork, Briluk, and Leah sat each afternoon watching what they had unknowingly sparked, a flourishing home in the middle of nowhere. The mountain of sand was gone, but their effort left a deeper mark, a united community that knew how to persevere. The lesson wasn't in building something eternal, but in withstanding the fall and trying again without fear of failure. Soon, desert travelers began to tell the story of the golden beetle and the mountain that became life. Some said Tork was a spirit, others just a tenacious insect, but everyone agreed on one thing. He changed his world with his inner strength. Briluk taught young lizards that sometimes true brilliance lies in helping without expecting applause. Leah, the firefly, flew each night, drawing the heart's silhouette with her light, the shape that once marked the beginning of everything. What began as mockery of a tiny beetle became a legend passed down through generations. Because even the smallest can move mountains if their will is as strong as their hope. Moral: true strength doesn't lie in how big you are, but in how hard you try and how many times you rise after falling. See you very soon with more magical tales that will make your imagination soar and touch your heart in every adventure.